Craft Brew Sports Cincinnati Style is brought to you by Minuteman Tickets. Basketball season's here, everybody. Football season in full swing, and there's only one spot you should be heading to get your tickets, and that's Minuteman Tickets. Look, we love Minuteman. They're Ohio guys. They're sports fans, and they're not going to screw you over like other ticketing places. It's not just football or basketball either. They've got it all. Baseball, hockey, theater, rib cook-offs. It doesn't matter. Hit them up, MinutemanTickets.com, or give them a call at 614-943-3000 and avoid all of the fees. Tell them you heard about them right here on Craft Brewed Sports, Cincinnati Style.
Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style is also brought to you by More Labs. Drink one bottle of morning recovery while you're partying and bounce back quickly the next morning, guaranteed. Go to morelabs.com and use the code SPORTS at checkout for 20% off your non-subscription purchase.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style. I am Mike. With me, as always, is Scott. Joe over there behind the computer. Joe, how you feeling today, bud?
What it do, baby?
This is Craft Brewed Sports Cincinnati Style, the show that focuses all on Cincinnati sports. And just like Cincinnati sports, if you're not from here, you're probably not going to like what we got to say. Scott, how you feeling this week?
Totally winless. Never win. Oh, wait.
I'm so over it at this point.
I know. There's so many different ways to say, they lost, but do any of them matter?
No, it's just I feel like the more this goes on, the more you just lose the fan base.
Well, and I feel like that's the overall consensus of this whole thing is just, on all the years I've been in Cincinnati, the city and the fans have just never been so apathetic. It's like
it's awful.
They finally hit that rock bottom of whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the absolute worst place that you can be as a sports franchise when the fans don't care one way or the other.
I have thoughts on it, and we'll get to that here in 1 second. We're going to talk some Bengals. We're going to talk some Xavier hoops as they get ready for the Charleston Classic coming up.
Talk some UC pigskin. What the H?
Yeesh. And also, Scott is going to do that hockey at the end of the show.
Our favorite new segment.
We will get to all of that. We'll talk a little UC hoops as well. UC hoops finally getting some love in one of the polls.
But drama.
We will get to all of that. Let's get right into Bengals talk, though, because
why not?
Sure, let's get it over with at this point. I feel like this was always I was like, oh great, it's football season. We can talk Bengals. I'm so done with this team. Go ahead, Joe. Hit the
Can
thing.
the season be over?
God, I wish. So you talk about everybody being apathetic, and what I find interesting is when there are teams that are in this downward spiral, when it's just loss after loss, you know it's going to get bad, you know it's going to be bad, there's management that comes out, and I think of the Sixers when they're like, trust the process. Trust the process. There is nothing that we can trust as Bengals fans in this whole rebuild. Everybody is just yeah, we're going to lose. We're going to get the number one pick. We're going to blow that pick, and the team is going to be complete garbage for the next decade. That's essentially how every Bengals fan feels right now.
Yeah, because it's just there's no accountability. The ownership isn't saying anything. They're being mum. And I feel like even at the end of the season, it's, assuming it's going where it looks like it's heading to an 0-16 season, which this franchise has never had, you would think that'd be the one time that the Brown family would come out and take some type of accountability, and I just don't see it happening.
Nope.
What's the incentive for them to do it? I mean, it sucks because you hate to see any fan base be just completely devoid of any hope at all.
Biggest question: if Andy Dalton played, would they have won?
Yes. Yes.
I see some people. I see some people say that, and they're like, it makes some sense if you say, if you look at it, you're like, well, they only lost by 7. Sure, he could have made the difference, but I'm like, this team right now, they would have found a way to lose this
Well,
game.
I mean, I
feel
guess that's a good point.
That's
That's
the thing. Like, I feel like Andy Dalton would have made it look better. You might have felt slightly less hopeless throughout the contest because poor Ryan Finley, like the offensive line is just so shite, and the
Dude,
receivers,
that's garbage.
they're out here putting guys off the practice squad in the starting lineup. You got Tyler Boyd, who's like, what the F is going on? There's no pass. Like, I mean, everything that can go wrong is going wrong, but then you're like, well, if Andy Dalton was in there, though, they just would have found a different way to lose.
But Mixon had a career, a nice day, 86 yards and a touchdown.
He had a nice he had a nice day, and my only thing is he celebrated like he had a nice day.
Well, yeah.
No. But,
He's been waiting for this,
no,
man.
I know, and the problem has been he hasn't been there most of the season, and then when they finally got it going in a game that like was close enough, because there's been games where he's got it going, but it's
Right,
like,
but
they're down by 12 touchdowns, so who
right.
cares? He gets it going in a game that, was close and it kind of mattered, and he was just celebrating, and I kept thinking, you've just been waiting for your own personal stats, haven't you?
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
he
totally.
totally looked like the
Mixon-
guy who
yes.
was like, well, I'm having a good day, don't care what else
Yep.
is going on around me.
Mixon 100% was, as my dad would say, he was all about the name on the back of the jersey, not on the front. He did not care one bit. All he wanted to do was be able to be like, check out that stat line. We
Well,
did
yeah,
that.
like it wasn't because of me we lost.
Right, exactly.
But that's so sad. Like, I mean, it just again, no matter how much. Okay, I take that back. If this were the Cowboys, I would totally be reveling. in it. I would wash myself of this every week. I'd be like, oh God, I need some more. Y'all got any more to the Cowboys?
Can we
losses,
bottle
like,
up these
embarrassing
Jerry Jones
ones?
tears?
Yeah, like, oh God, it'd be so good.
That's the difference, though. Jerry Jones would have come out like after the second
Right.
loss and been like, no, this is all part of my plan.
Well, not only that, there would have been sweeping changes, even if they
Right.
were ill-advised, like throughout this
Yeah,
entire
there would have been
process.
something.
Whereas-
Mike Brown's just sleeping in his owner's box.
Right.
No idea what the hell he's doing.
Well, I mean, even CBS can't identify him. So, I mean, we can't, and that's what's most disheartening. It's like not even a like fake guys. We're really sorry. Like, I mean, because
Yeah.
there are owners across the league that will apologize or come out and do the whole pound the fist on the table. But at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, but that guy's still about his money. But at least he's faking the funk.
Right,
Like,
right.
the
Give
Browns
me
aren't even.
something.
Yeah, the Browns aren't even faking it. They're just like, hands off. Whatever happens, happens.
It's trade deadline
Whatever.
and they're out on vacation. It's like, bro, what are you doing? You can't even pretend to care and try to make something happen.
That's so sad.
I mean, it's and that's what I think that's where all Bengals fans are at right now, where it's just like nothing is going to change. And I think everybody was on the hopes of like, well, once Mike Brown's gone, Katie will take over and maybe that'll be different. Nope, it's not going to be any different. It is the same thing nonstop with these. I mean, the team is just going to be maybe a playoff team at best. Like, we need to realign our expectations going forward. Don't ever think the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. Don't ever think they've got a shot. Hope for the playoffs, and you won't be disappointed. Hope for that first round exit, and that's it. That's the best you can bank on. That's
Well,
a successful season in the
Didn't
Browns'
Mike,
eyes.
Didn't Mike Brown kind of say that more or less like a few years
Pretty
ago
much.
when they lost like the third first round game in a row where it was just like, but we still get all the gate and all the funds from being a playoff team, and so it's like, but we don't have any of the expenses of making it any further. Like, they've more or less admitted to the fact that the goal is just to be there.
Just get there,
Don't
get that money.
win anything else, just be in there.
It's so disappointing. So we have a game where they have a shot at the end. I mean, it was a long shot, but Finley had a shot at the end of that Raiders game to lead them down the field and tie it up.
Yeah.
And there was a penalty. It was like 2nd and 19, and then Finley throws the interception to seal the game because, of course.
Well, okay, there's two observations, though, that I made about Finley that, at least from his first game, was non-existent, deer in headlights for him. But one of them kind of overlaps. The main point is that he seemed a lot more comfortable in this game than he did in that first one. Because in the first one, it was like, he's got happy feet. He's he's jittery. Like,
which
it was
that's gonna
clearly
happen.
right.
Yeah.
It was clearly a rookie making his first
Right.
ever NFL start. Like, this one, he seemed much more comfortable. He was able to go through his reads, but he got zero help from the offensive line. Like,
surprise, surprise.
right, like absolutely none. It was exactly what Andy Dalton dealt with
Right.
all year, and so you're just like, well, you can't really evaluate him. But the other part of that was like there was times, and Andy can kind of do this, but it's to a much lesser degree. Like Finley could kind of scoot. There was a couple times
He had a couple.
he took off, and I thought, wow, for a white boy, he's got wheels.
even on that last play on the interception, he scrambled out of the pocket and extended the play. Like he did what you need to do. He then completely telegraphed the pass and basically said to the defense, "Hey, I'm going right here. It's gonna happen right here." And then he threw the ball right there. And was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Finley, for that one." But I get that. That happens all the time. Quarterback trying to direct traffic and all that. But you got to be able to make the throw when you're doing something like that. Well, you can't throw it into double coverage after being like, this guy.
Right. But in general, though, I wouldn't point to him as like last week as like, yeah, okay, he's a rookie deer in headlights. He was definitely the reason like they never stood a chance. And not only because they were going with the Ravens, but it was just like, oh, okay, you've got this rookie quarterback. This week it was like, well, I didn't necessarily think he lost the game for them. He didn't do anything to help them win, that's for sure.
And that's what you need is out of a rookie quarterback is just don't blow it.
Right. Like if they had the pieces around him, because I mean, you look at it, it's like no AJ Green. He didn't. Tyler Boyd got mad because he wasn't targeted. You had Auden Tate who had a career day.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good day. But I mean, he was throwing the guy. They brought a guy in off the practice squad. Like I mean, like he's getting absolutely no help. So I feel like if he had a halfway competent offensive line and a NFL capable wide receiving core, like this game could have been won. Like that's what I look at it like. It's like if you move these things around. And so that all goes back to the question of, well, would they have been better off if they had just started the also ran? I still feel like they would have found a way to lose.
That's fair.
That's
a
the
fair
ultimate
point.
way of looking at it is like, yeah, they lost. Yeah, they had a rookie. Yeah, they had all these things going against them. But even if Dalton was back there, they probably still wouldn't have found a way to win.
Well, we look ahead now. We've got Steelers
Do we
week
know?
coming up. Sure.
Steelers
you
week
have to.
again.
Yeah, Steelers week coming up. The surprising thing to me is that the Bengals are only getting 6.5 points in this game. That is a very surprising line to me.
We talked about what happens this week in Steelers? I know we didn't talk about it on the regular show.
Yeah, I mean, we
Should we touch on it?
Sure, we could talk about it. There was some shenanigans that happened in the Steelers Thursday night game against the Browns.
That's one way of putting it.
There was, it was a fracas, a
brouhaha. That's my favorite.
Kerfuffle.
Yes. Yeah, there's some disagreements going on the field.
There was a discussion that
led to fisticuffs.
So some AFC North news as Mason Rudolph he lost his helmet and Myles Garrett tried to place it back on his head.
Nicely.
Gently, as gently as possible. And the Myles Garrett suspended.
To be fair, it was the most gentle I've ever seen an opposing player try to put a helmet back on the opposite team. So there is that.
But
it may not have worked out so well, but...
So there are some suspensions that the Steelers are dealing with coming into this week. Pouncey is out after he then tried to fight Garrett and kicked him in the helmet while Garrett was on the ground. So that's a big thing for the Bengals. That's a big plus. I'm utterly shocked that Mason Rudolph is not suspended at all for his part in
I still can't believe that he's not missing something.
What a tool bag to come out today and read that statement, his apology
After
statement.
6 days.
Yes, and he couldn't memorize it. He came out and was like, I am very happy to be a part of this organization, and I let them down. Questions like you couldn't memorize this garbage statement. You're supposed to be an NFL quarterback and you can't memorize the 3 lines that they wrote down for you. Boy, I kind of wish Garrett had hit him with the other side of the helmet. I don't know.
Whoa.
Hey,
He deserved it.
Whoa. Whoa. Hot takes. No, I mean, it's one of those things that it's ugly. You don't like to see it, but it's like nobody is condoning what Garrett did. But at the same time, man, Mason Rudolph definitely played a really big part in that. It's one of those classic cases of the one who gets punished the most isn't the original offender. It's the one who retaliates.
Can I tell you what my favorite part of the whole thing was? After Rudolph got hit in the head with his helmet, and then one of the Browns defensive linemen pushed him down in the end zone.
Ogunjobi.
Yes. The close-up of Rudolph just looking at Ogunjobi going, bitch. That is my favorite part of the whole thing. I was like, I will rewatch this 100 times to see him get shoved from behind and turn around and just go, bitch. It's so good. It's the greatest part of the whole thing. But Rudolph now has something to prove this weekend. Do we think the Bengals get it done against the Steelers?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Joe had a hot take before we went on the air. Joe, you think the Bengals get this one done against the Steelers?
Sure, why not?
That doesn't get spicier than that.
ESPN predicting by 66% the Steelers are favored in this one, but the tie 0.3%. So if you got money on this game,
Whoa,
0.3% is one of the higher. I haven't seen that high recently for a tie. So if you're looking at betting advice, I might throw a 10 spot on the tie in this one.
Fair enough.
Let's talk some Xavier hoops.
Should we though?
We went out there and zipped them up at the end of the
Sure.
game.
I mean, Xavier moved up in the
We went out there and
rankings.
zipped them up at the end of the game.
Zipped them up.
What's funny is I think they should have moved down this week instead of last week.
Right. Okay, so I didn't realize.
How do you go from beating Missouri, the SEC school, the school that people have heard of, to barely beating Missouri State?
Because you live by the arc. Like,
God, this
so
team.
frustrating. Also,
And all of our fandom.
I didn't realize that Missouri State game was like part of this Charleston Classic.
I
It's
didn't
like
either.
I was surprised, but like
How?
I was looking at the Charleston Classic, and they have like non-bracketed games. So there were games of teams that are part of this that took place before the actual Charleston Classic. So Xavier could
These
play Missouri
early
State
season,
again.
Yeah, these early season tournaments are so weird the way
They're
they
so
they
strange.
play out. Like until conference play starts, I have no idea what's going on with the schedule of like any teams. You
Right.
you have all these like mini tournaments and like classic tournaments and stuff, and it's like, oh well, you could play the top 25, or you could play the bottom ranked 300
Buffalo.
teams.
Yeah. Here's the Charleston Classic that's coming up. It starts tomorrow night. We're recording this on Wednesday. It starts tomorrow night. Xavier will be starting the tournament against Towson, but also in the tournament is Missouri State, St. Joe's, Florida, Miami, UConn, and Buffalo.
The list of teams that they could play versus the teams that they probably will play. Astounding.
It's really crazy.
You could play once national title contender Florida or
Buffalo.
Missouri State again.
Maction. You can get some maction in this tournament.
What?
Well, wouldn't that be the worst? That'll be a real kick to the strength
ding-ding?
of schedule to get Missouri State twice in the same year.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and also probably because it's the Xavier way. Barely beat them by 3 this time, get blown out by 10 the next game. Like, that's what Xavier would do. Like, that's the way it would go. It'd be like, oh, well, you moved up in the rankings, and then you played them again, and now you're in the bottom 50.
Well, and when you look at these teams that are in this, even the big name teams, when you look at like Florida and Miami, they're not doing anything this year. Like they're
right.
pretty much garbage. Florida's bottom of the SEC. Miami, I think they had
Plays basketball.
Well, I think they've only got one loss, and that was to Louisville to start the season. But it's Miami. That's not gonna be a quality win at the end of the year.
Right.
So this is when you have these tournaments, it's like, all right, this is where we have a chance to bolster that out of conference.
We're making our money here. Nope.
Yeah, you got nothing in this tournament.
All this tournament can do is hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like all this could do is be a bad loss on your record.
Yep.
Because there's nobody in
I was
this.
going to say, no matter who you beat, they're going to be like, didn't matter.
Right. The only thing I want to see is some St. Joe's. I want some old A10 rivalry back in this tournament. Give us St. Joe's just so that we can beat St. Joe's and just get that old, like, A10. I want to start chanting A10.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but only if Delonte West shows back up for an alumni shootout.
Dude, I told him when they played at Xavier when we were there, I went up to the visitors' side where like they run into their tunnel. I ran around, and when Delonte and Jameer were running into the tunnel, I yelled at Delonte West, "How does it feel knowing you're never going to be as good as Jameer Nelson?" That one totally backfired on me because Jameer then busted out of the league. Delonte West banged LeBron's mom. Like, he totally had a better pro career.
You do realize Jameer Nelson played longer than Delonte West, right?
But nobody recognized. No, but hang on.
No. Like, you're wrong on this one because, like, Nelson's career was very quiet.
But he was like non-existent in the
But
league.
the only difference is that
He was like a starting point guard for like
for the Magic for like 8
non-existent,
years.
non-existent in the league. It's the Magic. It's the Orlando Magic. Nobody cares about the Orlando Magic.
But
he might as well still be playing in
Hold on,
college.
but besides banging LeBron James's mom, Delonte West didn't do anything but become homeless. Like, Nelson had a way better career than him. I feel like you screwed this one up horribly. Like, you were right in your original take. How's it feel that you're never going to be better than Jameer Nelson? And then he went out and proved you right. And now you're defending it the opposite way. Like, you should have just stuck with the original premise. You'd have been fine. Like, Jameer Nelson was just a guy in the NBA. Like, he was never a superstar.
He
but like,
totally disappeared once he got to the league. Like, that was a name you never heard of once he got to the league.
I remember him.
Dude.
No.
come
I mean,
on. It's
again,
the
that was
Magic.
my
He
fantasy.
wasn't a-
No, I know that was my fantasy basketball. Like,
that was your
years.
big pick.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, those were the years. Like, he was serviceable. Like, he was a backup point guard type. He was a starting NBA point guard for like. He didn't do anything spectacularly. He was just a guy, but he was much better than Delonte West for the career.
I
And guess what?
disagree.
Guess what?
Delonte
Didn't
West.
end up homeless.
Oh, that guy. Oh, that's so. Ooh, that's cool. Anyway, Xavier playing Towson to kick off this tournament.
They're still 4-0, so they've got that going for them. But seriously, I'm worried about this team because watching them, nothing clicks. Like, it's just this collection of guys
Which is frustrating.
that don't seem to fit together properly at all.
You would think, like, if this was last year, you can excuse it as, all right, it's Steele's first year. He's still trying to figure things out. You're in year 2, man. Like, you got to figure out how to make this work.
But see, my problem with Xavier, though, in their recruiting classes over the last, 6-7 years, I want to say, is that they just keep recruiting the same type of guy. They're like shooting guards, small forward hybrids, and they're like, F it, we'll just find a place for all these guys. And so they end up with no true point guards. It's always some shooting guard playing out of place. They've got a really good 2 and a 3. Some 4 that's probably better off playing in the 3. And then nobody has a center in college basketball, so it's just some guy
Right.
who
It's just
can't
the
play power
tallest guy,
forward.
yeah.
So it's like they've got all these 2s and 3s, and that's like where they've made their money. Like, they get really high recruiting classes, and it looks really good. But then when you get them out on the court, it's like, hey, this is 5 of the same guy. They don't mesh well at all, and none of them can shoot. And so it's
But
just
they're
like this.
all going to shoot. They're
Yeah.
all going to
No,
chuck up
They
threes.
all want to prove that they can shoot, but none of them can. And so, like, they just don't fit together. And that's why you end up with these Missouri State games where it's like, oh, you beat them by 3? Yeah, that's because you got a bunch of guys who are all the same, who haven't learned how to play together. Like, I feel like they will figure it out, but it takes.
I hope so, man.
It's going to take 3/4 of the season, and we're going to be doing the same thing we always do with Xavier. Where we're just like throwing our hands up until about mid-February, where it's like, all right, they finally figured it out, and maybe it's at the right time, and then it'll be at the right time they get to lead 8 and lose. It'll be the same as always.
Can I tell you what's frustrating? The most frustrating thing about this team right now?
we don't know how many kills
You
they've
can't
gotten.
find the kill stat. It's nowhere. They don't tweet about it. They don't talk about it. There's nothing.
But it might be coming to the scoreboard after this Charleston trip.
man.
It might be on the scoreboard as
Okay.
a trackable stat.
What's funny is
How
it's
are
like
we not tweeting about this Xavier social media team?
the kill stat is much like the drop stat in the NFL. Drops aren't an official stat, but everybody knows who has the most drops.
Right. But that's the thing. Steele made such a big deal about these kills, and if we get 7 kills a game, 98% of the time we're gonna win. Okay, great. And then Xavier on top of that is like, "Oh, you gotta bark every time we get a kill." Blah blah blah.
No, the bench barks.
No, they want the students to bark.
I was going to say they
but
want the crowd to
the
bark,
bench,
yeah.
the bench is already doing it.
Understood, but that's fine because the bench was like, "We're gonna bark every time we get a kill," and that's
and not only that, the bench is the ones who like jump up and down off of like a sweet layup. So
What's your
you know,
favorite bench celebration you've seen? Because I do love.
Favorite?
I do love a good bench celebration.
Well, my favorite is always the get back. The
get back's
the
good.
get back is the classic. Just everybody being held back off of something like innocuous. Like it's just like, oh, he made a breakaway sweet layup, and they're like, oh snap, and it's
I
like
like when
really.
I like when it's a get back on just like a jumper from the corner, like from the elbow. They're like, "Oh, he hit it
like,
from the elbow."
Nothing special. Something that
It was a set play. Oh, snap,
right.
get back.
So something that good players do without thinking. It's like, oh snap! Did you see that? Like, yeah, we did, but it wasn't. Special.
I like the row the boat. That was my favorite one that I saw in the tournament when it was a dunk and they just started rowing the bench dudes do not get the credit they deserve.
The bench
First of
dudes
all,
they do more work than a lot of the guys who play.
there's a lot of planning that goes into those bench celebrations besides the get back.
Hours.
Well, everybody else is practicing their layups, practicing their free throws. Bench guys are practicing their celebrations. All right, so we don't know how many kills we had against Missouri State. I'm guessing at least 7 because 98% of the time when we get 7 kills, we get a W, and there it is. So
Even if it's only by 3 against a team with state in their name, that's not Ohio. It's really awful. Jesus.
But now we have the chance to get them back in this Charleston Classic.
Get them back. That's the funny thing.
Really,
We'd
really
be seeking
step on the
revenge
throat this time.
Seeking revenge against the team that we already beat, but because it was only by 3 and it's Missouri State, it's like this is time for revenge.
But we would only meet Missouri State in the championship of the Charleston Classic.
How pathetic is that? Gotta get to the title game.
They're on the other side of the bracket, so we got to go.
We could double up this victory.
We're gonna
win
have to,
by 6.
We're gonna have to get through Towson. And we're gonna have to get through Buffalo to get another shot at Missouri State.
Moving on, man. Moving on.
Let's talk UC.
Holy God. It's so depressing.
Not
Fighting
much.
to get to Missouri State.
Not much to talk about UC hoops wise. They did get 1 vote in the coaches poll this week. Still unranked in the AP. Still not.
Are you
receiving-
still just as shocked as you were last week that they didn't move up?
I'm very shocked because
That was the most
as predicted, they beat Alabama A&M by 20-some.
that was the most shocking thing of last week was that they didn't get any votes when they hadn't played another game.
But they did get 1 vote in the coaches poll. Big ups to John Brandon for voting for his own team. That's the only way I could assume that happened.
God.
UC, they do get the big win over whatever Alabama A&M or whatever weird school they played. But this is a team that I feel like, I know we talked about it before, Crosstown Shootout is right around the corner. We're only a couple weeks away
They're
from
totally
it.
going to win this
They
game.
will
aren't they?
100% win the shootout. There's no doubt about it.
If Xavier's beating Missouri State by 3, they're
Right.
going down.
UC
They're going down to UC by 10.
Yeah, UC is going to win the shootout, and I'm just going to sit here. What I think we should do, Pardon the Punctuation is another Cincinnati-based podcast here in town. They are voted the 3rd best podcast by City Butte Magazine.
Ooh, 3rd, huh?
Yeah, which I think is hilarious that they claim that every time. But I think we should put a show bet up against Pardon the Punctuation for the shootout. I think we need to figure something out with those guys. Maybe put some beers on the line or something like that.
Okay.
I'll reach out to Ed and we'll figure something out on that one. But UC football.
I was going to say, can we talk about football now? Because that's where the more
Yes.
interesting stuff happened.
Yes, so they UC struggles this past weekend.
But they win?
They did get the dub. But
They pulled off a Xavier victory.
They
Three-pointer.
did. They really did pull out a Xavier victory. The other thing, too, UC's social media team threw a little shade at the Bengals this week. So UC plays.
Talk about low-hanging fruit, though.
They play Saturday night. This is their chance to lock up the AAC East. And they tweeted out a post about this game coming up on Saturday, and they told fans this is, quote, the city's biggest football game of the year going down on Saturday, and they spelled it DEY, a direct dig at the Bengals. I was going to say, I kind of love it. I'm kind of on board with this. Like, yes, you are the premier football team in the city right now, UC Bearcats.
Are they? I feel like that St. X Elder game got national. They got national hype this week. Like I saw people talking about it on Twitter, and then you even had Kyle Rudolph mention it on SportsCenter when he was getting interviewed by Scott Van Pelt on One Big Thing. Like. That was the biggest game in Cincinnati this week. So while UC may want to claim that, I feel like the Ohio high school football scene took over.
Was that? I mean, that must be playoffs, right? We got to be in high school playoffs.
No, yeah. And that was last Friday night. St. X ended up winning that game.
I was about to pull it up here.
I was just gonna say, I was like, I never did see, but I know that like that was
St. X lost. Elder won 28-24 in that game.
But I was gonna say it came down to the end.
Oh, now it's Elder Coleraine. Ooh. Another
overshadowing.
What is the bigger game this weekend?
Elder
is
Coleraine.
It Elder Coleraine, or is it UC versus whoever they're playing to lock up the AC?
And you just answered your own question. Like, that's the funny thing. While they were trying to throw shade, they should have done some research and been like, is there any big high school football game going on this week? Oh, there is. Ugh, not the biggest ticket this week. You know what would be funnier is if that matchup was like, we actually want to bump you guys. We want Elder Coleraine here at Paul Brown, so you guys can move yours back to your stadium.
Well, good, because it's another Nip at night, so that's good. So they'll be at Nippert, so Elder Coleraine can have Paul Brown. Let him have that one. But it's Temple. They got Temple. This was one of those that we were like,
that it is a pretty big matchup, but I still don't think it moves the needle in city.
Okay, so if you're in Cincinnati,
like more people are watching Coleraine.
I was going to say, if you're in Cincinnati, are you going to Elder Coleraine or are you going to Cincinnati versus Temple?
If somebody was like, I'll give you free tickets to each of them, or like whichever one you want,
yeah,
more people are going to Elder.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking too.
Like as much as I don't like high school football, like that's the answer.
Well, and especially because Elder is like all West Side, and West Side people are all about that high school football, man. They don't give a crap. They're like, we're not going to college. We don't care about college.
Well, I hope the West Side
By the
wasn't
way,
listening to this episode.
I like when we first started the show, we were like, all right, we're going to do Cincinnati sports talk. One thing we'll never do on this show is high school football. And here we are 10 episodes in doing high school football.
I wouldn't have, except for UC calling them out and me thinking about to last Friday.
No, you're 100% right.
I heard more about that game. And truth be told, I didn't realize until Monday that UC had struggled with their game. Like it wasn't until then. It was like, wait a minute, they dropped in the polls?
So is that a wake-up call? Is that struggle against USF the wake-up call? Because we have been saying all along, get through the schedule, don't get trapped, and you have Temple and Memphis to end the season.
It absolutely has to be because they fell behind Memphis in the polls. And so now they're technically, if the season had ended this week, they'd be on the outside looking in as far as bowl games. But it's like, there's no margin for error. They've got to win these games and win them convincingly for the next 3 to make sure that they don't have a let-up.
Not necessarily. They just have to beat Temple right now. They've got to beat Temple and lock up that AAC championship. All right?
But doesn't that require beating Memphis as well?
But they'll play Memphis again in the AAC championship game.
Oh, wait. So they're playing back-to-back weeks?
Yes, they would play Memphis in back-to-back weeks.
Xavier.
Yes, 100%. I'm pretty sure Memphis is still leading. Yeah, Memphis is still leading in the West. So, yeah, I don't know who Memphis has this week, but basically, if
Anthony Hardaway? Go listen to the regular show to get that joke.
Memphis has USF. So there you go. Memphis.
Oh, so see, they could struggle.
They could struggle, probably still pull one out by 3, and then it comes down to UC versus Memphis, and you will have, as long as UC beats Temple, you're likely going to have a UC versus Memphis rematch in the AAC championship game.
Wow.
That's bananas, right?
Yeah, but I mean this is how these lower conferences kind of like shake out. It just ends up being that way.
It could be something crazy if UC. So this would lock up the East for UC with this win. Memphis, if UC beats Memphis, it could push SMU up. So they would play SMU instead of playing Memphis.
D'Angelo Williams still there? Or no? is still Don Terry Poe? They run out there. I can't. Those are my two Memphis names that I can throw at you. Otherwise, I'm like, ugh.
We'll see. This comes down to how good of a coach is Luke Fickell to keep these guys on task for, this is, I feel like this is a game against Temple that you're obviously playing to lock up the East, so he's going to have them ready to play.
For sure. You can't get this late in the season and then have a letdown on that one.
What is the line on this game, Joe, going into this UC Temple game? The line...
UC is favored, but...
Yeah, 10 points. All right, at 10-point spread, I think UC can cover that spread. If I'm putting money down, I'd put... Especially because now you're trying to prove that last week was a fluke.
I was just going to say, if last week they hadn't have stumbled like they had, I would say, yeah, maybe that 10 points is a little bit to like overcome. But yeah, this week they're going to be on a mission to overcome the spread.
Yeah,
in fact, that's probably hanging in the locker room, just 10 points. We've got to win by more than 10 points. That's the goal this week is to win by.
Beat the spread. Well, we will see how UC fares against Temple. And as we get into that Memphis game, I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Scott.
Should we do the hockey?
You want to do that hockey?
I guess.
I want you to do that hockey.
All right.
We need to make that longer. That's got to be longer.
I know that is the whole thing.
Yeah, we got to get this singing in there.
So we can dance.
We got to get some dancing in there.
So I'll read the internet wrong again this week. Cyclones won 4 in a row, 3 in a row,
4.
And then they won 4 in a row and then lost one, but then came back tonight. As we record, just before we started recording this, they won against Kalamazoo, so they're back in the dub column. They went through Batman Night, which we had talked about on last week's show. But most importantly, I was going to say, what we discovered was that on Batman Night, the opposing team, who did they play that night? Was the Comets? Was that?
Yes.
Yeah. The Comets, which we didn't know before when we talked about it, they wore Joker jerseys.
That's so good.
And they looked better.
It was. I mean, if I was
they were
there,
better than the Batman ones.
I mean, so if I'm being honest, when it comes to Batman versus Joker, I am picking Joker every single time.
Right,
I'm a Joker fan.
No
I
doubt.
love it. I mean,
I'm just saying though, when you just strictly looked at the jerseys, though, I just thought that the Joker ones looked better.
The purple looked really, really good.
Yeah.
It was awesome. They had all kinds of characters out there too in the concourse. A friend of the show, Tyson, was there, and he took pictures with Batman and the Flash. And the Joker.
I didn't realize they were going to have all those superheroes.
Yeah, they had
in
all
attendance.
kinds of superheroes there.
Well, get this week coming up, they've got WWE Night.
Yes,
yeah.
It has been all over my Twitter sponsor posts.
And they're going to have Mick Foley there and the world's strongest man. I was thinking about when he and Mae Young had the hand. Real throwback there for the Attitude Era. Mae Young had a hand. Joe, you remember that?
Joe wasn't around for that. Come on.
I know it.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, I was
okay.
like that. I was gonna say that's like right on the edge there for Joe. But anyway, so WWE Night coming up this week. They also have Princess Night, and then a week from today, on the biggest party night of the year, the night before Thanksgiving, they're doing $1 beers.
That's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous.
Know. When I saw that, I thought, of all the nights, like, I know you want to get people to come out, but I feel like they would come out in general. So
it's smart. I mean, it's smart to do dollar beer night on the biggest party night of the year.
Well, I mean, everybody has offers that night, right? Like, I mean, we're not doing a show next week because we're not going to compete with everybody being out and drinking. So,
right. Oh man. Okay, so which promotion is better? Dollar beer night on the biggest party night of the year, or WWE night with Mick Foley?
You just gonna skip right over Princess?
Wait,
you dismiss Princess
for
then?
WWE night. You also get a Cyclones WWE luchador mask.
Luchador mask, yes.
You get a Cyclones luchador mask.
Wow.
If you put that on, are you not allowed to take it off? Like, you have to become a luchador.
Plus
and you're never
$5
allowed.
craft beers.
I was just gonna say, I was like, hold on. So on top of that, they
Hold up.
also have. I was gonna say they also do the $5 craft beers, $1 sodas, and $3 cheeseburgers. That's part of the 513.
Wait, hang on. Let's not. We are burying the lead. If you get the exclusive pregame meet and greet with Mick Foley and Mark Henry, you also get to see the Universal Championship belt,
The chance to see it.
the Undertaker's trench coat and hat, and the helmets that DX wore when they invaded WCW. Get the hell out of here. Dude, that is the greatest right there.
What's funny is we're asking which is the better of these promotions. That promotion goes like half of the page of scrolling. The dollar beers is like, hey, come get dollar beers on Thanksgiving
They're like,
Eve.
bro, Miller High Life PBR for $1.
Meanwhile, it's like, oh, and then there's Princess Night. So I think we know the answer is WWE night. Like, that's the night you want to go this
The
week.
DX helmets? They're in Cincinnati? Come on.
I like the fact that they could just throw out any old Army helmet and be like, these are the helmets.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you'd
we
be
would
like,
have no idea.
oh, wow.
Wait, was this the one Triple H wore, or was this the one Shawn Michaels wore? Oh, that was Xbox. Never mind. I don't want to see it. I don't care.
I was going to say, it's like, because Shawn Michaels wasn't there that night. It was just like the other parts of it. It was just.
Shawn Michaels wasn't there for that invasion?
Not that night.
He didn't ride in on the tank?
I was going to say, the night that they did the invasion night, Shawn Michaels wasn't there because that was when he was hurt. That was when he was dealing with all this back problems.
Was that when China was just walking next to the tank? Like,
Yeah.
everybody was in
Yeah.
the tank, and
Yeah.
China was just like, all
Yep.
right, I'm here too.
Yeah.
All right.
She
yeah.
did have a helmet on, though.
Ugh, don't touch that helmet. Don't go near that one.
That's the only postpartum helmet on that list, though. So there's that. Just saying.
Look at the standings change since last week.
And this week I'm going to read them correctly. So they've played 16 games. They are now 10-6 and 1 on the season. What?
10 and
No,
5.
10-5. Jesus. Ugh. One of these days I'm going to read it right.
Do that hockey.
God. This is one of those times that it's good that it's not longer because we're just missing the dancing. But yeah, no, they've moved all the way up to second place because last week they were like toiling down at 7th and 8th.
Yes, they were
like,
way down there. That 4-game win streak was huge for the Cyclones.
Yeah, but I feel like more nights like this where it's like, man, debate on which night of the week you're gonna go based on promotions can only bring out more fans.
I wish there was an easier way to consume the Cyclones season. Like, I know they have like the radio on their on the website, but I want like TV. Give me something that I can watch. Give me Cyclones TV that I can watch a game, because I would watch a lot, especially if you're wearing Batman jerseys and the opposing team's wearing Joker jerseys. Put that on TV, man.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Joe pulling up a stat for us here. Jesse Schultz led the way in the most recent win over the Comets in that Batman night. He got his 900th career professional point. That's impressive.
That's insane.
Man, 900 career points.
What's that even mean?
I just want to ask, Scott, do you know what a point is?
I was just gonna say, I was like, I'm not even gonna pretend here. I get so confused.
All right, if you had to guess what a
Yes,
point was.
please.
No, I
You're
struggle
in a
with this.
fantasy
I
hockey
know.
league, so
What's the
please
point?
tell us what a
What's the
point
point?
is.
And you know what's funny? Every time I see that, I'm like, why do I have so many minuses? I suck at this category.
What is a point?
Well, you get a point for scoring a goal, an assist, or there's one more thing that you get it, like a kill. Do you get something
Kill?
for that?
Oh, is this Xavier?
Hockey assist.
Shit.
The hockey assist.
Oh, what is a hockey assist? I know
No,
that.
that's how you also like you get.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's a goal and assist. Are those the only thing you get a point for?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I don't understand. So we're in that fantasy hockey league, and I'm looking at my team, and I'm like, okay, I've scored all these goals. Like I have a crazy amount of goals. But you look at the plus minus, and I'm always in the negative, and I'm like, what is happening
I
in
don't
this category?
understand.
Like,
I don't understand
like,
fantasy
the
hockey
plus
whatsoever.
minus confuses me so much. From like, I thought, okay, if you've got a bunch of goals and assists, you're good. But then when you look at my stats, I'm like, well, I guess not.
I'm doing pretty good this week right now.
We did that hockey.
I got a 6-2 lead going right now this week. No idea how I got that way, but there it is.
Also, having a 6-2 lead on Wednesday means nothing. I had a lead against you all week, and then you text me Monday morning. You hate to see it. And I'm like, how did I lose by 1? I was beating him all week. I was kind of pissed about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Fantastic. And what a great show. This was a really fun one.
We did that hockey.
I love that the show just progressively goes downhill. It's like, all right, we're very serious. This is intense sports takes. And then it's, hey,
I love that we
Batman and
end
the
each
Joker.
we end each week on hockey where we're both just like, huh?
Let's reverse it next show. Let's reverse it and start with hockey, and then we can have goofy NFL takes too. Because who cares? At that point, we'll be in the right frame of mind, right?
Sure, I guess. I like ending with hockey.
It is pretty good to end with hockey. But we will not be here next week, everybody. There will be no Cincinnati style show, but there will be.
That means we got to catch up on 2 weeks worth of hockey.
Ooh, I can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of promotions to cover.
We got to recap all that WWE action.
But there is a show that will be dropping next week, so be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We are going to be doing an audio-only show. It is our question and answer show. You can ask us any question you want. Ask us about Cincinnati sports. Ask us about national sports.
Ask us about hockey.
Ask us about whatever you want. It does not matter. Any question is available. We will answer everything. Like, don't be afraid.
If you've ever listened to the back catalog of our show, ask me about black hockey players. I know them shits. I can name them all.
Well, you can send us a text, 440-37-DRUNK. Leave us a voicemail on that number. You can send us a tweet, Facebook message, whatever. Slide into them DMs. Doesn't matter. Ask us a question. We will answer it. That is dropping the last Monday of the month. So the Monday after Thanksgiving, we will do our question and answer show. And hit that up. That's going to be really fun.
The last Monday of the month would be the Monday before Thanksgiving because the following Monday would be December 2nd.
You are 100% right on that.
That is correct. You have until Sunday afternoon to get your questions in, everybody.
Calendars are hard, okay? Calendars are tough to deal with.
I know more about hockey than you do about the months of the year.
30 days has September and other months.
We're out.
Be sure to follow the show at Crappy Sports. You can follow Scott at Scotty_K_Jr. Follow me at Mike Burlon. Tell me what month it is. Follow Joe at JoeGoalie4. Hit up the drunk line 440-37-DRUNK. Thank you guys for tuning in. Cheers, everybody.
We'll see you in 2 more Bengals losses.
Goodbye.